Let's go now to a breaking news story. An Air India Express plane carrying 191 passengers has crashed in the southern city of Calicut. And we're joined now by our correspondent in Mumbai, Rebecca Bundhun. Good evening, Rebecca. Could you tell us what you know in terms of fatalities and injuries? We're getting a lot of different numbers at this point as the story is still developing.
Yes, that's right. There's still a lot of confusion about everything that's going on there, but we are hearing the latest reports from Kerala Police saying that at least 11 people have been killed, including the pilot. We also know that dozens of people have been rushed to hospital. People have been evacuated from that aeroplane. They've been rushed to hospital, and several people are also believed to be seriously injured. The nature of the accident is really very, very terrible indeed. There's been heavy rainfall in the state of Kerala today, where Calicut is located. That's in South India. We are in the monsoon rain season here in India. There's been heavy rain and landslides even in the state today. And now this evening, this incident took place with the plane landing in Calicut and skidding off the runway. Now, why this accident has been so terrible is because in Calicut there's what's known as a tabletop runway, which means that the runway is at an elevated height and then that drops off into a valley. So once that plane skidded off the runway, it's dropped off into the valley, fallen from that height and broken into two, and we can see from visuals that there are debris scattered all around it. So fortunately, observers are saying that a fire didn't break out, and that could have helped to save lives. This was a flight, an Air India Express flight that was coming from Dubai, landed in Calicut. It was actually one of India's repatriation flights, which was bringing back people from the UAE who were stranded there because of the coronavirus pandemic, largely workers, non-resident Indians who are based there. They were coming back home to Calicut, to the wider Kerala state as well. And tragically, this incident has taken place. We're still waiting for an official confirmation in terms of numbers of casualties that clearly could rise. But certainly the latest reports are suggesting at least 11 people have been killed, including the pilot.
So in terms of the cause of this, you know, we understand, and it's all early information, that the plane skidded off the runway, and because it was that tabletop, obviously it almost fell down the ravine and that caused such damage. Is that your understanding at this stage of the cause of the accident, and would that have been weather-related, or was there any indication of engine trouble and a rapid landing that could have caused such a bad descent?
Certainly, a lot of people at the moment are linking it to the heavy rainfall, and that could certainly be a factor in the plane skidding off the runway, because actually these kind of incidents are common where a plane might skid off the runway during the monsoon season. And particularly, we do know that the rains have been very, very heavy in Kerala today, in India over the past few days as well. Although it is the monsoon season when we always see heavy rainfall, the past few days have been particularly bad, and in fact there were even landslides that took place in Kerala today, killing several people. So the pilots would have had to deal with heavy rain conditions, although they are used to dealing with heavy rain, but we don't have an official confirmation on what the reason actually was behind it. But that's certainly a factor that people are saying could be the main factor in the cause of that. We'll have to wait for more information for confirmation of that. However, there was another accident back in 2010 when another Air India Express plane, also coming from Dubai, in Mangalore, which is also in South India, there was a similar accident where it landed on another tabletop runway in Mangalore this time, and 158 people were killed in that accident when the plane went off the runway. So this isn't the first time that we've seen this kind of incident in India.
It's just so tragic when you were explaining that it is a repatriation flight. So these are Indian people who would have been stuck in Dubai during the global lockdowns, finally getting to come home. And then this horrific accident, which sees the plane skid off the runway in Calicut and break in half because of the steep ravine on either side. I mean, it is just utterly heartbreaking. Are people gathering at the airport? Are family members reaching out, getting any information at this point?
Certainly there still seems to be a lot of confusion around the accident, because it only took place just hours ago, earlier this evening, and ambulance obviously rushed to the site, rescue teams and so on, they've been there, and there's been a lot of chaos around the situation. It's been hard to even get that information coming through, because very much people on the ground are still dealing with this situation, and people have been rushed to hospital now. They've managed to evacuate everybody from the plane, we believe. So that's what's been taking place over the past few hours. So, but certainly family members will be trying to get information. There are a lot of people from the state of Kerala in South India that go to the Gulf region to work, and it would have been largely those people, Indians, coming back home, as you say. They've been stranded in the UAE for some time during the coronavirus pandemic, waiting to get back home to see their families. A lot of those families would have been travelling to the airport to meet their loved ones, and I mean, these circumstances really are quite terrible. But we are awaiting far more information on exactly what happened in this, and why this accident happened. There are a lot more details to come on this, but really a very tragic incident that's taken place in India.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for telling us what you know at this stage. Our India correspondent, Rebecca Bundhun, telling us that it's now confirmed 11 people dead, including the pilot. A repatriation flight coming in from Dubai, Indians coming home after being stuck during the lockdown. We know dozens of people have been rushed to hospital in Calicut, and of course that is going to create problems in its own. We know that hospitals in India are really battling. We heard earlier today there are now confirmed 2 million infections, COVID-19 infections in India. And of course we'll continue to update you on that plane crash throughout the evening.